Well, I'm going to talk about a real kind of an odd subject today. It's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are a lot of ones that went through Kundalini journey, get to realization, and then they go, they don't want to talk about it. Like you had Krishnamurti, went through a very difficult time with Kundalini, completed, but he never wanted to talk about it. Okay. My own guru went through Kundalini, taught by 3 tantric masters. Okay. Then he met Punjaji. Everything fell away at that point. His father was a realized being, and he has a real unusual story about his father. Well, I might as well throw that in while we're talking about it, because it was just... His father was a realized being, and his father says, well, I'm going to die now. Submerge me in the Ganges. They go, but yeah, no, you're alive, you're still breathing. No, I'll be gone by the time you submerge me. Okay? And he did. He left the form before they submerged him. Now in India, for those that don't know, a realized being is not cremated. Okay? Neither are women that are pregnant. They don't cremate them either. They are usually submerged in the Ganges, or they have them buried. If it's a sadhu or something, they will bury them, specific ceremonies, and bury them sitting upright in a meditation posture. Okay. So that's why they submerged his father in the Ganges. But yeah, like I said, my own guru, very knowledgeable, knew everything about Kundalini, how many thousands of nadis there are, how to release fire, how to release heat, all of these things he knew. Okay, we discussed it. But he threw the baby out with the bathwater, as did Krishnamurti, as did many teachers that went to realization. Because what happens, and now I understand in a way why they do it, because when you get to realization, you know, and Kundalini is a tough journey, okay, it's very tough. You go through years of pain and, you know, having traversed fears and having traverse all these other things, the sounds, the you know, visions, all the stuff that happens. So when everything blows out, what one is aware of is, I've never been born and I've never died. And the only problem, the only thing to be free of was the mind. So they think that, well, I could get them there another way. They don't need to do the Kundalini journey, so I'm not going to talk about it. And my guru didn't want to deal with it because, you know, I took the path of teaching through Kundalini. He took the path of just wanting to do inquiry or whatever. I'm not sure what all he's teaching now. Okay. We took divergent things when it comes to teaching. Okay. Now some of my students have met him, but he always says, you know, stay with your guru, be with your guru. And they just wanted to come and pay their respects because he was my guru. He helped break through the last of the conditionings. And so anyway, they throw out the baby with the bathwater. Now, you know, people need help through Kundalini. Now, I understand why my teacher didn't want to go there, because he says, I'm so sick of people talking about the lights and focusing on the chakras and this and that. And, you know, I understand that totally. I get it, okay? So that's immediately where they want to go, because this is what all the books are written out there about now, and just didn't want to deal with that. Okay, so I understand it. But it's the journey that got one to realization. Okay? You don't throw the bridge away. Say, well, I'm over it, I don't need it anymore. Well, other people need that bridge. They need a way to get across. Okay? So yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with Kundalini, you've got more things that you've got to deal with, how to stay grounded. You've got to get them through, the fear modes, the other stuff that comes up. What are the stumbling blocks? What are the, But, again, like I said, I understand why, because it's a more difficult path to talk about. It's so much easier just to tell people, well, just sit there and watch this and question that, and, okay. It's easy to sit up on a stage and talk about Advaita, in a very metered voice, and, But you have to honor what gets you there. Okay? So why throw the baby out with the bathwater? Yes, I understand, because you understand all the time you couldn't have gotten away from it if you tried. That it's always part and parcel of your being. Okay? And there was this whole journey you took to get to where you've always been. It's kind of like the cosmic joke, okay? But, in sitting with things, you see that, if it weren't for Kundalini and the difficulty of these things to look at and bring them up and flush them out where you couldn't get away from them, you would probably want to dismiss it, or you would want to distance yourself from it rather than questioning it deeply and using it as a door to go forward. So Kundalini has its place. Okay? It has its place. Ramakrishna, what's Kali? Kali's Kundalini, okay? Kali is Kundalini, okay? So there are those, again, they want to poo-poo it, and they don't understand it. They don't understand Kali, what she stands for, what she is, the teachings that are there, okay, the wisdoms that are there. That path, it is a bona fide path, okay? There are many different types of paths. Not everybody is suitable for every path. There are some that can do a bhakti path and can surrender 100% and be totally love it and be lost within that, absorbed into that. But for others, it doesn't suit them at all. It doesn't fit their, it doesn't fit for them as a way to go forward. Okay? So again, I don't understand this throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Even though when you get to the end point and everything has dismantled, and you know that it's always present, you know that you've always been free, liberation is always possible. Okay, it's possible for anyone, because that divine is within equal amounts in everyone, okay? It's not more here than it is there, okay? It's equally in all, okay? And one knows that the only obstruction they had was the occlusions of the mind. But that being said, until one gets to the samadhi states, okay? And I'm not talking about sitting in meditation, you get to a nirvikalpa, okay, and you get an experience of it and you come out and the mind reroutes and goes again. I mean, that's not liberating you at all, okay? You know it's there, you could feel it, you could talk about it, but you're not liberated because that mind is still going. It's still keeping one in that bondage, okay? That illusion of Maya, of illusions in Maya, okay? So it takes more than just sitting in samadhi states. It takes that questioning, it takes that deep diving, it takes looking, so that when that samadhi comes, one can surrender into it totally, go through that death, come out the other side with that still mind, okay? That still mind, which stays as a sahaj samadhi, ongoing, effortless, and effortless. That's why Ramana says your normal state is a trance state, okay? Yeah. Normal state is a trance state. Okay. Now, he didn't always say this, but to one person he did. Your normal state is a trance state. Being in that samadhi, that deep samadhi where the mind is stilled, it's quiet, it's done, it's finished. Okay. You're in direct consciousness without any mental fabric occluding it. Okay. You got to go to Mr. Max? Okay, go sparkle. Well, you don't have to. He's debating it. So again, I understand why it is, because Kundalini is a difficult journey to go through. And it's so much easier just to sit there and talk about it than it is to aid people to go through the Kundalini journey, okay? Because there is so much fallacy out there about it. About lights and chakras, and this one's blocked and that one's open, and this and all that other stuff that you've got to go through and get rid of before you can move them forward. You've got to get rid of the disinformation before you can give them the correct information to go forward. Okay? Oh my goodness. So I wish that teachers that have gone through, and like Ramana says correctly, Kundalini has to be awakened before one can get to realization. It's not what somebody is misquoting and saying. He says it opens at realization. That's not what he said. It has to be open before. Before, that means prior to realization. Okay? Prior to. And it's not going to open up, and within a day or two you're there, okay? Yeah, no, like I said, Rotorooter of consciousness. Kundalini is the Rotorooter of consciousness. It's flushing out all of the things that need to be flushed out. It's like the Bible says, you need to burn out all the impurities, okay? Same thing. You need to get rid of the chaff. You only keep the good stuff, okay? And that's what Kundalini does. It brings up all of the conditioned ideologies you have. It brings up the fear modes that you have. It brings up all of these things to be looked at, questioned, and to be moved through, okay? So I hope that teachers don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because it's simply easier to talk about what realization is, okay? About the still mind, about you're already liberated, okay? And the thing is just to cognize it, but how do you cognize it? You don't get it there. Like, like Krishnamurti found. He tried to talk people there, and he didn't get any that were realized, because you can't talk somebody there. It doesn't work. You can't reason your way there. Okay? Doesn't work. There have to be internal changes that take place in consciousness. Okay? It's not like a college course where you're going to take a college course and graduate at the end. Okay? The ego doesn't get enlightened, although there are those that, like I said, they get a glimpse, the mind reroutes what comes back. They are an enlightened persona, okay? And that's where you have the danger, when you have somebody that gets a glimpse, the mind reroutes, and then they want to set themselves up as a god. And again, contrary to what's being put out there, I do not see myself up there with Jesus Christ, but I hear this in every other sentence, okay? And as far as being up there with Buddha, Buddha self-proclaimed. Buddha said, I am awakened. That means I am a realized being. Yes, he did say that. So this idea that realization, people are never going to say that it's realization. If they say it, then that's fake. Well, then Buddha must have been a fake person. That's all I can say. Or anybody that's written the Ashtavakra, the Vivekchudamani, any of the great texts. Sankacharya must be a fake. They all must be fakes, okay? Because they all said that they were awakened, realized, okay? I am that which is unborn, okay? But I guess some people think you should just sit there on a log and never say anything. So anyway, I'm going to leave this here. And again, I understand why people do it, because there is a consciousness shift, and one sees that they always had that potentiality to be liberated. And they think they can get them there by an easier methodology than going through Kundalini, but I have not seen it yet. Okay? Like I said, even Ramana, who was the greatest sage, how many people actually got to liberation? A few. I think it's two or three. Okay? It's not as simple as these satsang sellers want to make it seem. Okay? Yeah. Anybody can go out and parrot words. So I'm going to leave this here. Much love and light. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you online.